Part 3 will cover what to do after you have presented your project at your club, as well as check in with your mentor and the road to DTM. Welcome to this new member orientation. Most of the time when new members join Toastmasters, they're just so overwhelmed. They don't know where to go, what to do, where to look, where to find things. And I trust that today you take this video and you play and stop and do and play and stop and do, because that's the only way that you'll get it right. Make use of all that is shared with you today, and do ask your VPE if you have any other questions. To do your icebreaker, ensure you do the following. The personal pre-assessment, remember that was after the purpose. This is the one. Then read your icebreaker assignment and then contact the VPE to request a slot to present your project at one of the coming club meetings. Give your 3 evaluation sheets to your evaluator and present your speech to be evaluated. Do your personal post-evaluation. You cannot complete this project unless you do that. So now we're going to go there to see how that is. So now you've been to the club, you've done your presentation. You're still not going to be recognized by Toastmasters website or anybody else that you've done that project. You've got to do this as well. So what is it that you have to do? What to do after you presented your project at your club? Here goes. So immediately when you log in, because you ended on this page, it normally would take you straight back to this page. Then just click the arrow and move on, or you can come here and just say assess your skills afterwards. You go to assess your skills, you finish it all, and once you are done, you click submit. Once you've finished with that, now you still won't be recognized as being finished. There's still something else you need to do. What is that? It opens up this page to say to you, well done, you have just completed your first project. Now close the tab on your browser and wait. Take note of this. Close the tab on your browser and wait. Let's zoom in there. Can you see? There's your browser. You've got a, depending on what browser you use, sometimes it's on the left-hand side, sometimes it's on the right-hand side, the little cross to close off that training. You just got to close that and sit there and wait, because if you look on the left-hand side, it says open curriculum, realize your potential, Toastmasters Pathways Basecamp. It is there. So after it is closed here, it needs to go and do something in its tech part, and then it will open up this tab for you. You will land back on this tab, and then when you land back on this tab, you still have to wait. Okay, so there you click on that, and then you arrive here. It will eventually then create that little check mark to prove you have completed the icebreaker. And you have to do that for every single project. Otherwise, it will not reveal as being completed. The second project has this purpose. You start off with, it tells you the same, prepare a speech, any title, and do a presentation on that and receive an evaluation. So this teaches you how to receive an evaluation. And then it sets the tone, because Toastmasters, VPEs must constantly remind Toastmasters, remember to look at your previous evaluation form and to see what people are recommending, because the idea of the evaluation is to prepare you for the next one. Let's quickly have a look at the evaluation resources of project number 2. You get an evaluation resource for a first speech. In this project, in your second project, it has 3 parts to it. Number 1, you're going to present a speech and receive an evaluation. So this is the evaluation for it. And then you have to adapt your speech by the recommendations you received from that evaluation form. And here is the first speech evaluation, which says the purpose of this project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback and apply the feedback to a second speech.
The purpose of this speech is for the member to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. And then you prepare your second speech. You print out its evaluation form. Now for the second speech. The purpose of this project is for the member to present a second speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to the second speech. The purpose of this speech is for the member to demonstrate that he or she has applied the feedback received from the first speech. You present the second speech, and the evaluator will see how well did you adapt and perform the recommended changes. This is so that you can understand that every time you receive a evaluation, make sure to look back at what was recommended so that you can grow yourself. But not only is that what's happening here, you are also learning how to present evaluations for other members in the club. Thus, the third part of this second project is where you have to evaluate your first speech, and someone is going to evaluate how you performed at that evaluation. The purpose of this project is for the member to develop skills for delivering and receiving feedback. The purpose of this speech is for the member to deliver constructive feedback to another member's presentation.
Now this new member had evaluation for their icebreaker. They had evaluation for evaluation and feedback project 1, evaluation and feedback project 2. So in other words, so far they've received 3 evaluations. They've learned how to work through it. Now it's time to prepare them to learn how to do evaluations. And now they will do an evaluation, but remember, they can't do the evaluation they receive credit for at the same time they do a speech. So what we normally do is, in my planning, I have it that once the person has done evaluation and feedback second speech, I schedule them to be able to do an evaluation at the next meeting, and then prepare them for this so that they can then present that evaluation to someone else. And then on the agenda, normally, if you have 5 speeches, you'll have 5 evaluators. But if somebody is being evaluated for the evaluation, I put the 6th evaluator on there too, to make sure we don't forget that person. This is the entire first level at a glance. So you can see there's an icebreaker project. And if you look at the icebreaker resources, there's your evaluation resource. So you had one evaluation resource for the icebreaker project. If you look at the evaluation and feedback resource, you will see there are 3 evaluations. 2 of them come with speeches and 1 is just the evaluation. And then the third project has 1 evaluation. Now, please, I ask you, please make sure that you guide new members on that research and presenting. Help them understand that this is the opportunity, that if there's something that happens at work that they are not happy with and they really want to bring some good suggestions to work, use this project and go and do a little bit of research around what they want to suggest, and let them utilize that research for when they want to present their point at work, and then they can come and share with the club to say, I have a situation at work and I've done the research on it, and then they share according to the project what their findings are, and that helps them in their work environment. This little envelope thing, you see, you have the 3 computer screens and then the little folder thing. The folder thing has nothing next to it until you have finished the last research and presenting project, and you have for all of them the little blue ticks there. If you don't have for all of them the blue ticks, you will not go to the place where you can submit the project to Basecamp to prove that you are finished. Check in with your mentor. I want to say, to have a mentorship program is crucial. District wants the immediate past president to drive the mentor program. There's various ways of doing it, and I can see my time is running out here. There's various ways of doing it, and I just want to present it to you like this. When a member has finished level 2, they are, technically speaking, qualified to help another new member get through level 1. And I call that a new member mentor, where you simply, when a new member joins, you ask who's ready to assist this person, and they become the mentor. Now, who is responsible for that? On the one side, VPE knows who needs what kind of mentor and needs to communicate that with the immediate past president, who is supposed to be the person spearheading the program and keeping a guard over it and assigning accordingly, and checking in with the mentors and the mentees. Most of the time, a mentorship program is driven by the mentee. But if a mentee doesn't know that, nothing will happen between the mentor and the mentee. So the mentor must guide the mentee or the prodigy, whatever word you want to use, as to how to do it. Now, can you see from this picture? The mentor is the watering can that needs to water the mentee to be able to grow. Coaching is purely driven by the coach. Do your 50 sit-ups or whatever it is you need to do, because I know that's what you need to win this game for us. That's how it is. But in a mentorship, it's a little bit different. The mentor will ask questions to help a mentee. But when it's a new member mentor, it's purely to help the member from the first project until they have closed off the last project. And the last one is, where do all the paths lead you to? Where are you going with all this? The road to DTM, Distinguished Toastmaster. Here is the visual of what it's about. You see, within Toastmasters, when you are a new member, you're coming in and you learn about, there's a path, and you learn about selecting the path that you need to add value to your life, etc. But I want to introduce you that that's not all there is. There's so much more. So just keep it in mind. What is this more? Now, if you have a look at this illustration, right at the bottom, you see the illustration of the 2 paths. So you have to complete 2 paths. This is a complete training program to develop you to become a distinguished Toastmaster. In your road, completing these 2 paths, one of the other things that you need to also do is, and we looked at the bottom, the 2 paths that needs to be done. Now look from the top down, and it says on the left, club officer for 12 months. So now we're saying, not only do you need to learn how to communicate and do presentations, but learn how to lead. So become a club officer for 12 months. And you need to be a district officer. In other words, an area director or a division director or the district director. Any one of the district roles you need to do that. Then you need to be a club mentor or a club coach. And beyond that, you also need to be a club sponsor or create a speech craft or youth leadership program. And if you've done all of that, you can see it takes you to become, and there's a DTM project that you need to do as well. And then it makes you a distinguished Toastmaster. And you become a distinguished Toastmaster, then you can see it's a long journey. It's a minimum of 2 years that you are making this happen. So do your best. Let your membership fees add great value to your future. Learn to apply yourself well to your projects. You know, one of the projects in level 4 was a social media project. And as a professional speaker, I wanted to arrange my social media in a specific way. I took that project. I spent 30 hours on that project, researching what I wanted to do. And then as I did the research and the findings, I set up I learned about branding. I learned about the networks, how to put it together. How do you post on the different, I made it my business to find that out. Then I set up all my things in accordance to that. And that took me over 30 hours to do. And when I was done there, then I presented that presentation. You don't have to spend 30 hours in it. But that's the value I wanted for myself. And I used the information from there to inspire me and to direct me and to take me further. So I want to encourage you, Toastmasters has so much to offer, but you'll never ever find it unless you dig in. It's like gold and diamonds. You don't find it. You just have to dig in to get it. And with that, I believe we have come to the end of this presentation, and I am open for any more questions. Let's fire away. Kagiso, I see you have unmuted.
Yes, I have a question to ask. I want to ask regarding the pathways. Let's say I complete my pathway mid-year, let's say around July, and I want to proceed to the next pathway. Do I have to buy another pathway, or do I have to wait for the renewal of membership? And then the second question is, what happens if I complete, or if I am not complete with my pathway, but I decide to not renew my membership? Can I continue with my pathway until completion, even though I'm not a member
Very
anymore?
good questions. Very good questions. Let me answer the first one. Your pathway and starting a new one or finishing another one is never related to a Toastmasters here. Toastmasters program is self-paced. It depends on your pace. As I said, you can at any time, you've got your free pathway. At any time, you can, even when you just got your free pathway, you can immediately after that buy another path and work the two together. Or you can wait until you're finished with the other one and then buy the next one. You always have to buy additional ones. Once somewhere, Toastmasters International did do something and they gave some free pathways, and I cashed in on that one. So make sure that your eyes and ears are open in case that happens so that you can cash in on that too. But at any time, you can buy a new pathway and continue with that. The purpose of paying your dues is to have access to your pathways. So the moment you have stopped paying your dues, your portal with Toastmasters International is shut. You cannot access your material. At a club meeting, you cannot present a project, because if you do allow people that haven't paid their dues to present, you are violating the purpose of membership, because any person can come to a meeting and they will learn by what they see. But the biggest amount of learning is by doing. And that's why you pay your dues, in order to have the rights to do. And that's when paths are unlocked for you, that you can present speeches and do your projects.
Granny B?
Yes.
I just want to comment that it was very insightful for me, more especially on the DTM side of things, because initially I just thought that DTM, you just have to complete 2 pathways, but I see that there's more to it and the journey doesn't end there. So it was very insightful and challenging as well, that the journey doesn't end there. You have to serve more.
Now, that word that you just mentioned there is the huge key. Often you find people, when they catch on to paths, they just do their projects. They want to come to a meeting. They want to share their speech and go home. They don't want to evaluate. They don't want to be timer. They don't want to be grammarian or Toastmaster or anything like that. Well, that's just selfish. You can't go to a meeting and expect to do a project and have other people evaluate you and groom you if you are not prepared to do that in return for others. That's where the Toastmasters promise comes in. And that's what we need to make sure when there's new members and current members. Members need to be reminded of that all the time, to say, people, in order for us to develop ourselves well, when a Toastmaster comes and they present a project speech, they need to have a timer and a grammarian and all of these others there in order to groom us. If you're not prepared to take on those roles, it's not fitting to be able to, because we need to work as a team together. So why should somebody evaluate you if you're not prepared to evaluate someone else? Why should somebody do your timing if you're not prepared to do someone else's time for someone else? Does that make sense? It's so important that we make them understand how that works.
Thank you so much, Brittany B. And I hope we've all learned so much and we can apply this. And I think it will also make my work as a VPE easier now going forward, because members know that they have to submit their evaluation forms, how to get the evaluation forms, and that in order to have me approve them on Basecamp, I need to have that evidence of the evaluation forms.
Well, if there aren't questions or comments, I have a request. And my request is this. I always like to, if it's at all possible, before we go and disappear, would you be kind enough? And if you're comfortable enough to do that, just put your video on and unmute yourself, and let's just greet each other and have a moment to interact with each other. That would be really cool. Thank you. See you. Bye.
Bye.
And let's just see each other. So I'm going to take my screen off so that you can see the people behind us. There we go. You can see they're all here. And let's greet each other. Oh, wait, let me just close that one. There we go. So thank you everyone for joining. Bye-bye. Thank you, Marcelo.
Thank you, Granny.
Love. Thank you, Georgina. Good to see you. Okay, bye-bye, everyone.
Yeah. Bye.
Wow, there's a little
Bye.
eye.
Thank you so much,
Bye-bye.
Brittany.
I can like this eye.
Okay, lots of love. Enjoy your weekend, and I hope it helped you. So please talk to me if there's anything else. Okay, bye. I'm ending the meeting. Bye.